Grandpa's 49 free vegetable gardening hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. 1. Crushed eggshells for calcium boost. Save eggshells and crush them into your garden soil to boost calcium levels. This is especially useful for tomatoes and peppers to prevent blossom end rot. The shells break down slowly, feeding the roots over time. Grandma never let breakfast scraps go to waste. It's free, natural, and surprisingly effective. Calcium without buying any fancy fertilizers. 2. Marigold borders for pest control. Plant marigolds around your vegetable beds to repel harmful insects. Their scent deters aphids, nematodes, and beetles naturally. Grandma always called them her floral bodyguards. They're bright, beautiful, and hardworking. No pesticides needed when marigolds stand watch. The garden stays lively, but bug-free. 3. Coffee grounds for acid-loving plants. Used coffee grounds are perfect for tomatoes and blueberries. They gently acidify the soil while improving its texture. Grandma loved how they attracted earthworms too. She never tossed them in the trash. They fed the soil and fueled growth. Free fertilizer straight from the morning cup. 4. Toilet paper roll seed starters. Skip store-bought seed trays and reuse cardboard tubes instead. Cut them, stand them up, and fill with soil and seeds. When it's time to plant, bury the whole thing. They break down naturally in the soil. No transplant shock, no plastic waste. Cheap, clever, and compostable. 5. Cinnamon to fight seedling fungus. Sprinkle cinnamon on the soil surface of young seedlings. It acts as a natural antifungal that prevents damping off. This little kitchen trick saves entire trays. No chemical sprays, no cost. Just one pantry staple doing garden miracles. Grandma's seedlings stayed strong and mold-free. 6. DIY trellises from tree branches. Gather fallen tree limbs and tie them with twine. Use them to support beans, peas, and climbing cucumbers. Grandma called it her stick and string solution. No need to buy a single pole. It's rustic, sturdy, and surprisingly charming. Nature supports itself best. 7. Reuse cooking water for plant food. Leftover veggie or pasta water has plant-loving nutrients. Let it cool, then use it to water your greens. Spinach, kale, and beans soak it up gladly. Grandma never poured it down the drain. It gave plants an extra, no-cost boost. Tasty water turned into garden gold. 8. Stack tires to grow potatoes. Old tires make perfect vertical potato planters. Stack them and add soil as the plants grow. At harvest time, unstack and pull out your crop. No digging, no strain. Grandma got more potatoes in less space. A backyard harvest tower, plain and simple. 9. Newspaper weed barrier. Lay down newspaper before adding mulch or compost. It smothers weeds without plastic sheeting. Grandma layered pages like a garden quilt. They biodegrade and feed the soil over time. Less weeding, more growing. A silent helper beneath your veggies. 10. Banana peel fertilizer. Chop up banana peels and bury them at plant bases. They release potassium and phosphorus as they decompose. Perfect for squash, peppers, and tomatoes. Grandma called it fruit-feeding fruit. She never bought potassium supplements. Banana scraps became bloom boosters. 11. Eggshell barriers for slug control. Crushed eggshells don't just feed plants, they stop slugs. Grandma sprinkled sharp shells around lettuce and greens. The jagged edges deterred soft-bodied pests instantly. No traps, no chemicals, no slimy trails. It's eco-friendly pest control at no extra cost. Just breakfast leftovers doing garden duty. 12. Basil as a tomato companion. Basil planted near tomatoes improved growth and flavor. It repelled hornworms and drew in pollinators. The scent filled the garden with freshness. Grandma always paired these two crops together. They looked good and grew better. A natural match made in dirt. 13. Rainwater collection buckets. Every rainfall was an opportunity for free irrigation. Grandma placed barrels under the roof's edge. The water stayed cool and chlorine-free. Plants thrived without city tap additives. Even during droughts, she stayed prepared. It was nature watering itself. 14. Old pantyhose as plant ties, stretchy, soft, and surprisingly strong. Grandma tied tomatoes and beans with used hosiery. It held without cutting into stems. She saved every torn pair for garden use. They moved with the wind without damage. Support that costs absolutely nothing. 15. Deep containers for straight carrots. To grow smooth carrots, she used tall pots. The soft, deep soil prevented twisted roots. Stones were removed to avoid stunting. Grandma filled buckets or bins with compost mix. Each pull revealed a perfect veggie. No digging, no bending, just beauty. 16. Vinegar to clean tools and pots. A splash of vinegar cleaned up rusty shears. It broke down hard water stains on pots. No harsh chemicals needed, just soak and scrub. Grandma kept a jug in the shed. Sanitized tools meant healthier plants. It smelled like cleanliness and care. 17. Kitchen scrap compost mix. Eggshells, coffee filters, veggie peels, all saved. She layered greens and browns in a bin. Turning it every week kept it active. Worms moved in and broke it down fast. The pile turned rich, black, and fertile. Waste became food for food. 18. Old spoon as a seedling spacer. Precise spacing matters for strong growth. Grandma used a kitchen spoon to dig rows. It let her lift and thin gently. No tearing roots or disturbing neighbors. The tool was basic, but brilliant. Measured planting every single time. 19. Gravel base for potted veggies. Drainage is key in containers. She laid a layer of pebbles first. It stopped soggy roots and rot. Plants grew happier and stronger. Grandma reused driveway gravel for this. Even scraps had a second life. 20. Partial shade for summer lettuce. Lettuce doesn't like too much heat. In July, Grandma gave it afternoon shade. She used old sheets, sticks, or nearby crops. The leaves stayed sweet and crisp. No bolting, no bitterness, just bounty. Shade meant salad success. 21. Skewers as row markers. Grandma never bought garden markers. She stuck wooden skewers at the end of rows. Sometimes she painted the tops for color coding. It kept crops organized and labeled. No guesswork when seedlings popped up. Simple sticks, major clarity. 22. Wood ash for nutrient boost. Leftover fireplace ash became garden gold. She sprinkled it lightly around tomato plants. Rich in potassium and lime, it fed the soil. Kept pests like slugs away, too. But never too much, just a dusting. Balanced the pH with old-school finesse. 23. Tomato pruning for bigger fruit. Grandma always trimmed lower tomato leaves. It improved air circulation and kept fungus away. Energy focused on fruit, not foliage. The plants looked cleaner and yielded more. She used scissors or just pinched gently. Less leaf, more tomato magic. 24. Laundry basket harvesting. She used a laundry basket to gather crops. The open sides let her spray dirt off. It doubled as a rinse tub outdoors. No mess inside the kitchen. Lightweight, washable, and easy to carry. A household hack turned garden gear. 25. Keep a garden notebook. Each season she recorded what worked. Dates, weather, crop success, and new tricks. It helped improve year after year. Patterns emerged and lessons stuck. Her notebook became a garden diary. Memory meets method in one place. 26. Oyster shell mulch. Crushed oyster shells added calcium to soil. They deterred soft-bodied pests like slugs. Grandma got them free from the seafood shop. Washed and crushed, they gleamed in the sun. A coastal touch for inland crops. Sharp, slow release, and soil smart. 27. Radishes to break soil. She planted radishes to loosen compact dirt. Their fast roots pushed through hard ground. When pulled, they left channels for air and water. Even if not eaten, they helped the garden. A living tiller at seed price. Radishes did double duty. 28. Tea bags for compost starter. Old tea bags kicked off compost piles. They added nitrogen and kept the mix moist. Some had paper tags, those got tossed. But the leaves inside worked wonders. Compost cooked faster and smelled sweet. Even tea breaks served the soil. 29. Epsom salt for magnesium deficiency. Yellowing leaves meant a magnesium need. Grandma mixed Epsom salt with water. A quick foliar spray fixed it fast. Peppers and tomatoes perked up. It was her secret plant tonic. From the medicine cabinet to the garden. 30. Diagonal planting for slope gardens. On hilly ground, she planted diagonally. Roots dug in deeper and stronger. Water spread more evenly down rows. Erosion slowed with smart layout. The hills bloomed like flatland. Slope farming, grandma style. 31. Straw mulch for moisture lock. She spread straw between rows for mulch. It held moisture and blocked weeds. Plants stayed hydrated even in heat. The straw slowly decomposed into compost, cheap and easy to source. Golden straw, greener garden. 32. Companion planting layouts. She memorized veggie friends and foes. Beans loved corn, but not onions. Cabbage and dill didn't mix. She drew garden maps in winter. Harmony brought better harvests. Neighbors mattered, even for plants. 33. Garlic spray for insect defense. Garlic cloves steeped in water made spray. It deterred aphids, mites, and whiteflies. Grandma misted leaves in the morning. Smelled strong, but worked wonders. The bugs stayed far away. Stink today, health tomorrow. 34. Let plants bolt for seeds. When lettuce or cilantro bolted, she waited. The flowers formed seeds she collected, saved money, and preserved her best strains. Each season's stars grew again. Self-sufficiency in bloom. Seed saving was sacred. 35. Broken clay pot markers. Old terracotta pots became labels. She wrote names on the shards, stuck them near plant bases, weatherproof and charming. A touch of rustic flair. Nothing wasted, not even pots. 36. Gutter gardens for leafy greens. She mounted old gutters on fences, filled them with soil and spinach. Greens thrived above ground pests, watered easily and harvested standing up. A space-saving vertical garden. Innovation with leftovers. 37. Cold frame with windows. Grandma reused old window panes. Laid over garden boxes, they made cold frames. Seedlings stayed cozy in spring chill. She started crops weeks early. No fancy greenhouse needed. Just sun, glass, and grit. 38. Forked soil to deter cats. Cats hated walking on upright forks. She stuck plastic forks tines up in beds, kept diggers out of fresh soil. Safe for plants, annoying for paws. A cheap and effective fence. Peace for seedlings restored. 39. Staggered planting times. She never planted all at once. Every 2 weeks, new seeds went in. That way, harvests stretched for months. Less waste, more enjoyment. Timing was her hidden tool, a rhythm of abundance. 40. Broken dish drain for vertical planter. She turned an old dish rack upright, filled it with small pots and tiers, perfect for herbs and strawberries. It stood by her back porch, beauty and bounty stacked high. Dry dishes? Now dry time. 41. DIY seed tape with toilet paper. She glued seeds onto tissue strips, spaced perfectly with flour paste, rolled them up for spring planting, laid them out in minutes, perfect rows with no fuss, precision from pantry items. 42. Milk jug greenhouses. Cut plastic jugs and cover seedlings, sunlight in, wind and frost out. She anchored them with stones. Each jug became a tiny dome. Spring started sooner under plastic, protection made from trash. 43. Tomato cages from old wire fencing. She coiled fencing into sturdy rings, taller than store cages, stronger too, supported tomatoes through summer storms. They lasted years without rust. Reused from a chicken run, stability from scrap metal. 44. Let weeds tell soil story. She observed what weeds grew. Certain ones meant acid, others poor drainage. She used them to guide amendments. The garden spoke, she listened. Weeds weren't always enemies. Sometimes they were signs. 45. DIY plant labels from spoons. Grandma flattened old spoons with a hammer, etched names into the surface, shiny, permanent, and elegant, lined up like silver soldiers. Each one told a plant's story. Craft and gardening in harmony. 46. Shoebox organizer for seeds. She stored packets by season, labeled dividers marked sowing months. Nothing got lost or wasted. Her shoebox held future harvests, a tidy trick with zero cost. Seeds sorted like treasure. 47. Use ice cubes to water delicates. For seedlings or transplants, she used ice cubes. They melted slowly, avoiding shock. Great for forgetful days, too. 1 cube per plant, easy math, moisture without flood, cool care from the freezer. 48. Plastic forks to mark tiny sprouts. Tiny sprouts need visibility. Grandma stuck forks beside them, easier to spot and weed around. Cheap, bright, and effective. Helped grandkids avoid accidents. Garden safety gear, fork style. 49. Plant nasturtiums as trap crops. Pests loved nasturtiums more than beans. She planted them as bait. Bugs stayed off main crops. Nasturtiums took the hit, gracefully. Colorful sacrifice for protection. Brilliant, bold, and blooming smart. 50. Ladder trellis for vining crops. Old ladders became cucumber supports. Leaned against walls, they climbed strong. No wasted space on the ground. Easy to harvest, too. Upcycled structure, vertical victory. Vines loved the climb. 51. Use chopsticks for planting peas. Each stick marked a pea. No overlap or wasted space. Perfect for tiny helpers planting. Grandma called it garden math. Hands learned spacing by touch. Precision in a stick. 52. Tidy vines with binder clips. Binder clips kept vines on wires, held gently but firmly, easy to adjust as plants grew. Grandma reused office supplies. Even paperwork served plants. Vine management made easy. 53. Split hose as edge protector. Old hoses sliced lengthwise wrapped bed edges. Softened corners for knees and tools. No more chipped shovels or scraped shins. Looked neat, felt safe. Grandma thought of everything. Even protection was homemade. 54. Cabbage water pest repellent. She saved cabbage boil water, cooled and poured on leafy greens, kept aphids and worms at bay. No waste, no spray. The smell faded, but results stayed, repelling with broth. 55. Grow beans to fix nitrogen. Beans improve the soil naturally. Grandma grew them before heavy feeders. The roots enriched the dirt. She called it plant composting. Rotation with a mission. Green fertilizer in action. 56. Bread bag twist ties for vines. She saved every twist tie, used them to gently train stems. Reusable, bendable, and soft. No garden supply store needed. Just breakfast bags to blooming beds. Economy wrapped in wire. 57. Mini greenhouse from Ziploc bags. Small pots slipped into clear bags, created humidity domes instantly. Great for seeds starting indoors. No special trays required. Grandma lined them on her windowsill. Tiny greenhouses for baby plants. 58. Grow garlic in fall for spring. She planted garlic in autumn chills. Roots formed before the freeze. Come spring, growth exploded upward. Bigger bulbs, better flavor. A trick from her grandmother. Legacy in cloves. 59. Plant calendula for bug protection. Calendula flowers brightened the beds. They repelled whiteflies and nematodes. Plus, they were medicinal. Grandma dried petals for balms. Garden to salve, full circle. Beauty with purpose. When lettuce or cilantro bolted, she waited. The flowers formed seeds she collected, saved money, and preserved her best strains. Each season's stars grew again. Self-sufficiency in bloom. Seed saving was sacred. Old terracotta pots became labels. She wrote names on the shards, stuck them near plant bases, weatherproof and charming. A touch of rustic flair. Nothing wasted, not even pots. She mounted old gutters on fences, filled them with soil and spinach. Greens thrived above ground pests, watered easily and harvested standing up. A space-saving vertical garden, innovation with leftovers. Grandma reused old window panes. Laid over garden boxes, they made cold frames. Seedlings stayed cozy in spring chill. She started crops weeks early. No fancy greenhouse needed. Just sun, glass, and grit. Cats hated walking on upright forks. She stuck plastic forks tines up in beds, kept diggers out of fresh soil. Safe for plants, annoying for paws. A cheap and effective fence. Peace for seedlings restored. She never planted all at once. Every 2 weeks, new seeds went in. That way, harvests stretched for months. Less waste, more enjoyment. Timing was her hidden tool, a rhythm of abundance. She turned an old dish rack upright, filled it with small pots and tiers, perfect for herbs and strawberries. It stood by her back porch, beauty and bounty stacked high. Dry dishes? Now dry time. She glued seeds onto tissue strips, spaced perfectly with flour paste, rolled them up for spring planting, laid them out in minutes, perfect rows with no fuss, precision from pantry items. 42. Milk jug greenhouses. Cut plastic jugs and cover seedlings, sunlight in, wind and frost out. She anchored them with stones. Each jug became a tiny dome. Spring started sooner under plastic. Protection made. She coiled fencing into sturdy rings, taller than store cages, stronger too, supported tomatoes through summer storms. They lasted years without rust. Reused from a chicken run. Stability from scratch. She observed what weeds grew. Certain ones meant acid, others poor drainage. She used them to guide amendments. The garden spoke, she listened. Weeds weren't always enemies. Sometimes they were signs. Grandma flattened old spoons with a hammer, etched names into the surface, shiny, permanent, and elegant, lined up like silver soldiers. Each one told a plant's story. Craft and gardening in